Arturo down like that.
If Calzaghe can make it go round. And here's what will hurt.
46 victories without a single loss.
He did Roy Jones like that? Oh!
A record-breaking 21 consecutive title defenses.
No losses?
Fatality.
That uppercut was nasty.
21 consecutive title defenses.
Where he from, man?
And a decade-long reign at the top. At the turn of the century,
Okay.
Joe Calzaghe ruled the super middleweight division with an iron fist.
Super middleweight.
Oh, lovely left hook there.
Even making Roy Jones Jr. look awkward. Even
Got
making
freaky
Roy
on him.
Jones Jr. look awkward. And yet, despite being one of the most dominant champions in history, the general public is barely familiar with this fiery Welshman's adventures.
That crazy. It's my first time hearing about him. I ain't gonna
Oh,
lie.
and he just knees buckled and one on and he's down.
It's time to relive the journey of the Dragon, a musician's son from a small village who reached the pinnacle of fisticuffs
Sleep Dean.
and rode off into the sunset undefeated.
And another left hand. He's staggered under this and he wants to go to war and he gives him a...
Hey, y'all was commenting him, so we here. I know y'all put him in the comments. Y'all already know we coming. Pause.
A street musician named Enzo arrived in the British
comment,
Isles from
subscribe,
Italy in
man.
1969. Traveling
Appreciate
through
everybody.
cities, he stopped in the capital of Wales, Cardiff. Met a waitress in the very first cafe he stopped in the capital of Wales, Cardiff. Met a waitress in the very first cafe he walked into, and married her 4 weeks later. Soon
Dang.
the couple gave birth to their firstborn, destined to bring worldwide fame to the Calzaghe name. The
To the
family settled in a
Calzaghe
mining
name.
village with a population of 6,000 people. At the age of 9, Joe started attending a boxing club, an old building made of metal sheets. The conditions were harsh, but this austerity is precisely why the boy fell in love with pugilism. Initially, he trained under the guidance of the local coach, Paul Williams. First stepping into the ring, Calzaghe immediately stood out among his peers. Although visually
He
unassuming,
fed, boy.
the slender teenager rarely went the full distance.
Oh! That look nasty.
When Joe was 18, his trainer retired, which led Calzaghe Sr. to take on the role of the chief cornerman. The situation was complicated by the fact that Enzo's band was about to sign a contract with an
That's
American
hard.
record company. But he turned down this opportunity in a heartbeat. The father gave up his dream for the sake of his sons. With his dad in the corner, Joe broke through to the national level. The explosive southpaw became the British champion 3
The
times
British
in a row.
champion. Oh!
Moreover, each year he would move up in weight, conquering the kingdom's most prestigious tournament in 3 different divisions. In a span of 5 years in the amateurs, Calzaghe's win column surpassed 100. The boxing community appreciated the young prospect's talent, but couldn't come to terms with the fact that there was a musician in his corner who had nothing to do with boxing. No matter
That's
how much
hard.
those around him tried to persuade him, the son didn't abandon his father.
Say,
Why would he have been
gonna
his
work.
father?
You know, it's not going to work. You need to get proper training, you need to get a professional trainer. But I knew my dad was the best trainer for me, and he went and proved it, training 3 world champions, you know, which was fantastic. So yeah, we did feel the underdog, but I suited that.
But I sued that.
In late 1993, the 21-year-old Joe transitioned to the professional ranks. Joining the
He
168-pound
fast,
super middleweight division, he showcased devastating power from early on.
His very first fight. So it's
Shout out to the father too, man. Shout out to the daddy, man. You don't get a lot of fathers like that in life, bro. Whew. Respect.
Faced devastating power
Oh my
from early
God.
on.
He created a
very first
demon.
fight. So it's still a tough test.
The agile Welshman never stopped, mowing down opposition with a machine gun-like fire.
Like he knows he can hurl, so now he's thrown everything.
Oh, he's got him again with the right hand.
Young Calzaghe's style was built around dynamism.
Oh.
He rarely wasted time gathering data, going from 0 to 100 as soon as the bell rang.
He's hurt again.
He trying. He trying to put
As
Buddy
early
Head on
as
the
in
stick.
the first round, the Prodigy would enforce a pace that seemed impossible to keep up with.
Oh! I ain't gonna lie, them British fighters, bro, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. They coming. I know the Mexicans and the black fight, the British fighters are coming, man. I done seen a couple where I'm like, they underrated, bro. Ah! They underrated.
Instructed by a jazz
Chris
man, Joe
Eubank.
brought a special energy into the squared ring.
He fast, boy. He hit hard.
Under severe pressure here. Calzaghe can hit from both.
He converted music into strikes,
Very smart, early, isn't he?
setting a rhythm with swift combinations.
Relentless.
Calzaghe improvised on the fly,
Calzaghe in the first minute or so of this first round.
striving to end each composition with a vibrant finale.
And sniffing, but good.
Uppercut dropped him. My thing is, when they getting beat up like that in the corner, the ref just looking at him. I'm thinking in my head, like, bro, why don't you just throw a punch back or get out of the corner, bro? Why did you just sit there getting beat on?
In February 1996, the Dragon gave a cold welcome to the sturdy gatekeeper from the U.S., Guy Stanford.
Bum! Ooh, that left hook
Warren
nasty.
Stove, with a decent record of 17 wins to 2, started out strong,
Middleweight champion. We saw him in action just 2 weeks.
but soon regretted going out without a bulletproof vest
Off his make-off with the takings and the fight.
and a helmet.
In a helmet.
Dangerous game Stowe's playing.
Bum, bum. Oh my
Hope
goodness.
was his only weapon.
Well, he's got tremendous hand speed, very accurate. Oh, that's crazy by
Oh shit!
Joe
Ooh!
Hope was his only weapon.
Well, he's got tremendous hand
He
speed.
was weaving at the
very
weave,
accurate.
weave,
Oh,
weave,
that's crazy.
weave.
Joe showed the way to operate with your hands down.
Ooh, hold on, stop playing me.
Unloaded in close quarters,
To the body.
and forced Warren to keep the guard up. The opponent now resembled more of a punching bag.
Calzaghe not
He can't move that head or that body no more. It's over with.
So the one-sided beatdown was stopped between rounds. In the spring of '96, Calzaghe crossed paths with former world title challenger Pat Lawler. Joe set the pace with a distracting jab and bombarded all levels.
Body.
Calzaghe.
By unsettling the opponent with feints, Calzaghe shut down any outbursts,
Ooh.
picking apart the bewildered target. Lawler sought refuge in the corner, hoping to weather the shelling.
I don't think he knows what to do, really. Under severe pressure in the corner.
And even tried to run away.
I would have ran too, bro.
But there was no
Get up
escape.
out of there.
Lucky for him, the ref stepped in.
And saved his life. Oh my God.
Well, now is he Lawler complain, I'm sure,
Nigga,
but
he saved
The
you.
official's assistance was also requested by Carlos Christie.
Oh, the left hand, Dex Christie.
He
The
said,
yet
ah.
unbeaten Tyler Hughes couldn't touch the Dragon.
Nearly got it. Doing you any good, you're not learning anything.
And the very first long combo annihilated him.
We're saying boxing. Well, we can see some world-class punches. He's not too worried about what's coming back. Oh, there it is. So long.
Now, many began to believe in the
Boom.
musician-turned
Left hook
trainer's
sweet.
unique coaching style. Enzo himself commented on his conductor-like approach to boxing.
Doesn't every song start off with a verse? Jab. After the verse, you're going to be late. Bring it forward.
Minton under severe pressure here.
Then you got the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
We're working over here from Calzaghe in the first minute or so of this.
bam, knockout pass.
Sniffing, but oh, God,
That's hard.
that one did not get.
And so, within the first 3.5
That's
years,
crazy.
Joe secured 22 victories, all of them by way of knockout. Calzaghe was about to encounter a challenge that would determine his entire future career. In the autumn of 1997,
He got that boy out there playing a song with people body and head and face. That's crazy.
Joe was given the opportunity to capture the vacant WBO
crazy.
title. Across from him stood the former dominant king.
Eubanks. Don't get at me about his name, bro. But bro, I ain't gonna lie. He one-on-one, but I ain't gonna lie.
King Chris Eubank, who was once untouchable for over 5 years with 14 defenses.
Oh!
The charismatic.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, he in my top. Nah, I ain't gonna say he in my top 5 because y'all gonna be in the comments. Everybody in your top 5. Bro, it's hard, bro. It's hard because Chris Eubanks is really different. A different breed. I'm talking about small weight class here in my top 5. I ain't talking about all weight classes. I'm talking about smaller weight classes is what I'm saying.
Aiken had collected nearly 50 scalps.
So apprehensive. Oh!
And was renowned for his superb timing. Deliberately acting like the bad guy, he happily got on the younger contenders' nerves in the lead-up.
That's for the camera.
Oh, that's him. Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, we'll see what happens here. Yeah.
It took Joe 15 seconds to make an impact.
Although he's had fast knockouts, Eubank. Oh! Left hook on the deck. He's got up as if to say, hey, don't count.
The night promised to be short.
He does it.
As the Dragon performed the Ali Shuffle.
He tried to do a little Ali Shuffle there.
And casually fired from the hip.
Or in his case, Jack the Taffy.
Nevertheless, the savvy Eubank came back strong in the third stretch. And won the clinch battle.
Oh, he wants to stand and trade now. The crowd.
Quieting the critics in the crowd. He began unshipping heavy cargo.
Ooh.
Yet Calzaghe was more precise.
So at times, I mean, it's just remarkable.
And didn't let the initiative slip away.
Obviously, he was knocked down, but he looked so full in control.
Tensions kept rising halfway through the bout.
He'll slug it out with him, Eubank. I tell you, he'll go down fighting whatever happens. Oh, that's it. This is
leading the boxers to lock horns more often.
Well, they've been out the ring. Oh, that's his own thing. You can all lights look like they were dipping there. We don't want the lights out.
Oh, shit.
Oh, what a good scrap now.
The chess game at close range.
He always said he could do the 12-stone limit without.
Gradually fell under the Welshman's control.
There. Just as they broke away, they'll come up then to the end of the 6th round, and now he'll fight back the whole way there, Eubanks. He's got to fight his way out of trouble there. And he's doing it. And
Calzaghe countered the incoming attacks. And disrupted Eubanks' rhythm with patented flurries.
Trying to duck below those. Now he enjoys doing that, definitely, is throwing more punches. Oh, good shot. That might have been a turning point there, that left hook. She's falling into him. What a brave character though, Eubank.
Still light on his feet. In the 10th round, he caught the veteran coming in.
Scored the round, actually.
I want to see these fight in their primes, man. I want to see this fight when they both in their primes, so I ain't gonna.
Floating Dragon continued to build on the advantage in the championship rounds.
Who y'all think went into their primes, though, man?
Now Eubank in the
y'all give me, let me know.
Hear that noise of that.
While Eubank clung to hope until the very end.
And a good rally too by Calzaghe. Wants to finish looking the part. And he nearly nails Calzaghe. Eubank nearly nails him.
Joe secured a clear, unanimous decision victory.
Of course, that was a good
got the belt around his waist
beating
at
the brakes off you,
man. Marking the beginning of a new chapter in the undefeated Dragon's career.
Joe Calzaghe, world champion. How does that sound?
Sounds brilliant, you know, all the hard work I've done. I just thank God. Obviously, I thank my dad. I thank all the fans who come to support me tonight.
I want to thank my dad. I want to thank all my fans. Thank God.
In early 1999,
Big old voice. He got an actor voice.
Former WBC champion Robin Reed. The Olympic bronze medalist captivated women to screens and fully justified the Grim Reaper moniker.
Ooh! Bomb!
The chiseled challenger was sweating testosterone.
Ow!
So the Welshman focused on the midsection. forcing Reed to miss. Calzaghe worked both floors. And kept the counterpart at bay with the lead hand.
Back foot, Reed struggling a little with the
big tall man to get inside to Armstrong. Both fighting for the first time in 10 months.
Struggling to keep up with the lightning-quick Joe early.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh! He fast, boy. Them hands coming fast.
Reed found an opening for a right-hand cannon. And began acting dirty. The champion's matters further deteriorated as he injured his left hand, which forced him to start fencing. Albeit quite effectively. In response, Reed infringed on Joe's reproductive rights, Andrew Galata style. And was deducted a point. Calzaghe got back to using the lead hand, trying to maintain distance. The challenger was catching him nonetheless.
Ooh, ooh.
The Dragon eventually had to deviate from the plan. By engaging in an all-out brawl.
Oh my God, boy.
Before the last
That was
round,
insane.
the fighters acknowledged each other's efforts and continued to burn their gray matter reserves.
Everybody, I think, knows this is a close fight. Take your head off the knees to be in the condition.
The artillery duel didn't subside until the closing seconds.
Oh!
Even in the closing seconds.
Woo! That was a hell of a fight.
In the end, 2 of 3 judges favored Calzaghe. It's worth noting that pundits also sided with the incumbent, who simply won more rounds. Next, former title holder Richie Woodhall gave it a
Hold
go.
on. So they saying Reed 1 more rounds? I ain't going. I'm not rolling. I gotta see them scorecards, because I'm not rolling.
Hoping to shine in a farewell match. Calzaghe quickly found an opening for the lead hook.
Very good friends.
Ooh, get right.
There's the power.
While also mixing targets on it.
He's picking his punches well, Calzaghe.
And punishing the challenger's jab.
For him fighting against a southpaw. Again, he's...
Woodhall tried to turn the tide after the break.
Defense Woodhall hits him with the right hand right at the start of the round. Took Calzaghe a bit by surprise.
Now, initiating attacks with the right against a southpaw.
Good body shot from Woodhall. And again,
he found much more success.
Terrific right hand. And the problem with the right hand, he's going to throw it, and it's working for him in this round. This is Woodhall's round. He's really opening up here.
As the rounds progressed, the champion upped the pressure. Diversified his approach with lead uppercuts. Level changes.
About that one.
And employed combinations at last.
Trying to meet fire with fire. Woodhall.
Woodhall's right still troubled him.
Getting better as the rounds go on.
So under the watchful eye of Gordon Ramsay, Calzaghe showed his liver steak family recipe.
Reaching out for full-blown recognition. Woodhall getting trapped.
Getting his ass right.
But Calzaghe and the weight, it's a really big problem.
His hand speed is crazy.
Albeit showered by enemy missiles, the springy Woodhall refused to give up.
Woodhall steps it up here. He's really lifted himself in this round. Woodhall, normality against a fired up and inspired Woodall, who's there again with the right.
That's when Joe went all out.
He was hurt by that, wasn't he? He sagged from that punch. That took a bit out of Woodall. Punch of the round for me, there was that straight left of Calzaghe.
Hold on, that nigga started.
Punch of the round for me, there was
that nigga started
stepping
back again, right?
Got the left hand going.
Those combinations together really well. That's really.
And snuck in the lead uppercut again.
Oh, and he just knees.
Oh, dropped him.
Oh, and he just knees buckled and Woodall, and he's down. Down he goes right at the end of a round. And he looks hurt and tired. Up at 8.
The bell allowed the Englishman to see the 10th round. Desperate, the challenger surged forward. But Calzaghe had already spun the deadly windmill.
Now, Woodall was lucky that he was on the floor late in the previous round time. But Calzaghe now is pouring in the punches and looking for the stoppage. And he's going to stop it.
The ref saved Woodhall from complete shattering into splinters.
He's going in to try and take him out, and I thought that was a...
Joe had defended the belt for the 7th time, but was no longer as dominant as before.
For the 7th time, that's crazy.
He threw fewer punches and quieted down the backhand cannon, now relying mostly on his right. The reason was the naggings, where only one rival made it to the 8th round. Now, Calzaghe would lose the initiative more often.
You don't want to mention the hand trouble, but we were wondering in the fight.
So it was an elbow in his hand?
To your boxing skills quite early on. Has the hand gone again?
The hand,
Calzaghe
damn.
kicked off the year of 2000.
It's always the greats with the hands injuries, bro. They be hitting niggas too hard, bro. They be hitting niggas too hard.
2001, with a dismantling of the WBO's top-ranked contender, the unbeaten Mario Veit.
Veit go to sleep.
The German ate a step-back left hand out of the gate.
Step back left hand.
Joe gave an encore.
The German is caught again by another left hand.
That hook.
In the fall, the Dragon faced regional belt holder Will McIntyre. Due to recurring hand injuries, the champion took some stank off his punches. Slapping with quick combos instead.
Yeah, because he's supposed to win the sleep.
And punishing mistakes. Meanwhile, he introduced the jab.
Calzaghe's beating him to everything. Yes, at this point, no way.
He not on his level,
the laser sharp left.
He can't even throw back. Oh!
He's out now. Left uppercut all over the place. I am the best fighter in super middleweight.
Which perfectly set up
he let
the
it ref
laser
like,
sharp
bro,
left.
he's done.
There's no head movement.
They gave him mercy.
Left uppercut all over the place. I am the best fighter in super middleweight. I want Roy Jones. I want Bernard Hopkins. You want to looking for a fight? Hey, I'm ready.
Extending his title
Oh,
defense.
see, he called out Bernard Hopkins and okay, Roy Jones. I see you then. Let's say then, okay.
And streaked to 11 over the next year. In the summer of 2003, the 31-year-old Joe came upon former WBA champion Byron Mitchell.
Why ain't
Armed with
get
a
Roy
newly
Jones?
tattooed cross, the Dragon initiated the siege. Breathing fiery flurries.
3 minutes around, and he's hitting Mitchell with some big headshots here. And I just wonder whether this American might hit the floor again. He's done it in the past and definitely looked a bit.
He never missed a beat, sticking to the proven tactic of overwhelming volume.
He throwing them bitches fast and hard. Ooh!
Really getting on top here late in the fight.
They certainly want some good solid shots. He's heard him again with that right hook.
In the second round, Calzaghe vigorously pursued the finish.
Who buys for Joe as world number 1
and got a bit overzealous.
And down goes Calzaghe. Caught by one, and that's the first time he's been down in his...
Tasting the canvas for the first time in 36 performances, he didn't shell up in the corner.
Shots and another left hand.
He's
and he wants to go to war. And he
Emerging.
Get under this, and he wants to go
Sleep.
Emerging victorious from a duel of smoking barrels, Joe switched into turbo mode.
Joe throwing him. He said, I'm not losing. You gonna have to kill me.
Forcing the referee to save Mitchell from evisceration.
Come here. That's crazy.
When it came to a battle of wills, Calzaghe always proved to be an entirely different beast.
Surely can't go on like this. He collapses and he's stopped all over.
Joe kept the belt safe and sound, fighting in his homeland of Wales. The promising prospect, Mgur Mkhitaryan, 8 jabs for 6 rounds straight.
Wading away a bit wildly.
Damn.
Maybe even the return of Felix Trinidad we're hearing later on in the year.
Walking into a check hook each time he advanced.
Really increases popularity.
Bop.
Planting the lead hand once more.
His way to victory. That's a big right hand. It was fast and sharp. It's hurt.
Calzaghe closed the show with a trademark combination.
By that one, wanted to cover up. Now he's beginning to get to him. Left hand, the chin goes down under the barrel. It is all over.
How old was he at
The
this
Dragon
time?
wasn't always so composed, though. The trickster, Kabari Salim, moved his head.
Well, that's the temperament Joe has. If he gets caught with a good punch, he wants straight back and never hit her.
In mysterious ways, and cut the champion.
Wales getting a great reception here in Edinburgh. Another clash of heads on the inside. Calzaghe's got some.
Joe decided to punish the headbutting contender.
Good punch from Calzaghe, good left hand. Just get his own hands up.
Get his ass right,
Clocked
Joe.
him with a well-timed check hook.
Get him right, Joe. Ooh!
Rolled the response off the shoulder.
The 12-round distance.
And initiated a
He
high
threw a shoulder shot.
Calzaghe measures him as oh, right hand! What a right hand!
He just threw a shoulder shot, though. That's crazy.
Rolled the response off the shoulder.
The 12-round distance.
And initiated a hot-headed assault.
Calzaghe measures him as oh, right hand! What a right hand from Salim Calzaghe!
Salim was swinging wildly and nearly managed to cash in.
Calzaghe measures him as
oh, man.
Calzaghe learned his lesson and spent the following 8 rounds playfully dissecting the Egyptian boxer.
Pedology, I think they're quiet fifth. This is round 6.
In a rugged fight.
Right hand warning again from Kabari Salim. He has to keep his gloves up while he's doing this. Pick the shots, but that's a Calzaghe.
To the delight of the fans, the Welshman ramped up the pace and dropped the challenger twice in the final 2 rounds.
Hurt some tonight.
Oh, God, that would have been the end of it. One of the great one-point Mary.
Damn, we threw him down.
Going good left hand from Calzaghe. And this time.
Salim survived to see the bell, losing by a wide margin. In the spring of 2005, Calzaghe gave a rematch to Mario Veit, whom he defeated 4 years prior. Since then, the German had ran through 15 men in a row and was eager to avenge his only loss. The champion peppered the jab to disguise the left cross.
Oh, well, nice again. Full marks though to Mario Veit, who's sticking with this one very gamely.
Paying special attention to the midsection.
Calzaghe is undoubtedly winning it.
In the 5th round, Calzaghe took the pressure up a notch.
Very measured performance this at the moment.
And caught the foe on the retreat.
Oh, lovely left hook there. Terrific punch.
8 years have passed, but the crown still belonged to the Dragon.
Damn, 8 years?
By 2006, Calzaghe had reached a record of 41-0 with a remarkable 17 WBO title defenses under his belt. But despite this impeccable resume, the US media viewed the champion from Europe with skepticism. The state of the matters was finally set to change with a unification bout against the IBF belt holder. He also unloaded in the clinch, just like he used to do in the early career stages.
Again from Calzaghe, picking the shot well, and nothing coming back in there from Lacy. So all
Lacy was swinging sledgehammers.
Looking for headshots, these are the danger punch. Oh, good shot from Calzaghe, short, straight left. Lacy into his face, those are low punches surely. Yeah, this is getting...
But Calzaghe ducked under them with ease.
Calzaghe's going to have to fight his way out of the corner. Doesn't want to be in that sort of toe-to-toe.
Then Joe would make the foe spin.
The combination, and then spins off and leaves Lacy to hit in thin air.
Outmaneuvering him with hands down.
You're beating up breaks off, buddy. Buddy looking for one punch. Joe is outboxing him.
Couldn't decipher the rhythmic flow of the fight.
Very pedestrian, very one-paced. You know, like all punches. That's
from Calzaghe. That is exceptional. Absolutely exceptional.
1, 2, 3 passing. Calzaghe just goes missing.
Jeff's face was getting busted with the lead hand.
Well, there was scar tissue coming into
and subsequent combinations.
He could have stood the fourth, and it's another Calzaghe round. And look at this. Terrific work from Calzaghe. Very slow.
Beating up breaks off then.
In close quarters, Calzaghe employed the left uppercut.
Ooh!
Trying to wing those trademark wing hooks. There's his girlfriend.
While piercing with a stinging jab from range.
In Joe Calzaghe of admiration.
Lacy's punches are very...
Quick flurries shattered Lacy's defenses, eroding the favorite's aura of invincibility.
His lower lip. Headshots, tension, if not fear of what might be.
The check hook was also in play.
And I was so used to seeing him.
And the Dragon didn't slow down even past the halfway point.
I think something in the region of 40 punches on.
Constantly changing angles.
Another one. Oh, look at this. Headshots, all scoring shots from Calzaghe.
He decisively claimed round
man, we're
after
gonna start
round.
the fight, man. That shit over with, man.
The referee should be having a good look at this, and I think that
all the while toying with an opponent who could barely see.
He's treating Lacy with contempt.
That is an Ray Leonard trick. In the world title fight, I think Lacy would have been out of that.
Against Calzaghe's surgical work,
superb again.
Lacy appeared helpless.
Every time, outboxed, outpunched, outmaneuvered.
To his credit, he withstood over 300 punches.
Career-ending fight.
And then coaches let him get beat up.
He's got nothing left, John. He's got nothing left.
The referee ought to be stepping in to stop this one.
And through.
Referee said, man, look at his ass whoop.
And even got up from a knockdown in the final stretch.
Lacy says, come on. Down for the first time in his career.
Jeff was nearly out on his feet, but managed to last until the end. Prior to the bout, most sports media predicted Joe would lose for the first time. Disrespected and underestimated, he delivered the best career performance to date, decisively dismantling the rising American star and claiming the second title. The Welshman made the U.S. audience take him seriously. Enzo Calzaghe played a crucial role in the triumph, not only devising an effective game plan, but also convincing his son not to pull out of the bout. As it turned out, Joe's left hand got badly hurt just 10 days before the encounter, and his father persuaded him to fight through it.
Calzaghe. I was in great shape, thanks to my dad. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. He's a great trainer, great dad, love him a bit.
You know, I started to doubt myself a little bit. I think, I can't fight this guy with one hand. No matter what, I'm proud of you. But you have to fight this fight. You have to fight this fight, Joe. He said, trust me, this is going to make you this fight. And I think, Dad, I can't fight this guy. Why are we talking about this? This is going to be one of the easiest fights. This guy's going to make you. This guy moves 5 times and throws 1 punch.
Yeah.
You throw 5 punches and move once.
Of course, bro. We're trying to look for one power punch. You're going to get boxed out.
Them twice, and at the age of 35, had no intentions of slowing down. In the spring of 2007, he went on a quest for the missing straps. The undefeated Danish boxer, Mikkel Kessler, had a resume of 30-plus finishes. Was 7 years younger. On a streak of 39 victories, and most importantly, possessed the WBA and WBC titles. The showdown between the division's elite with a combined record of 82-0 drew the attention of the entire boxing community. The bout took place in the Dragon's backyard.
Toughest night of his career.
Where a crowd of 50,000 spectators gathered to support
50K?
their hometown hero.
The biggest boxing contest.
Joe began by feeling out the distance.
Calzaghe still feels this.
And probing with long hooks.
They have indeed. Here comes Calzaghe again.
Meanwhile, Kessler employed a cross as a rangefinder.
Records in the history.
Quite effectively at times.
Turning pro.
The hand speed.
That's good work by Kessler.
The first couple of rounds were close. In the third, the Dragon stress-tested Kessler's torso.
Lacy. Way back at the start of last year. No.
Pressed on the gas.
Southpaw, and then Calzaghe once again a little bit low with that left hand, and the pace has suddenly picked up a little bit. Now, who will that suit?
His hands down stance signaled that he had found the groove.
Too far away with the left.
Them hands go down. He get, oh yeah, I'm about to knock you out, bud.
35-year-old champion. He's really loving that. Was a good.
Joe's signature combinations got going, but the Dane held strong.
Calzaghe coming forward, got himself caught. He walked onto a.
Kessler started calibrating the right uppercut.
Exchange with Kessler there. And another.
Didn't forget the classic 1-2.
Faster hand.
Ultimately securing the fourth frame.
Ooh!
The chess match continued into the fifth.
The best British boxer of all time, certainly in terms of his record. More crisp now, he's not leaving anything to chance. Back to a much more settled routine.
Calzaghe was more precise in exchanges.
Oh, good shot.
And abandoned caution by the midpoint, opening up more often.
By the right glove of Calzaghe. That was a good right though from Kessler.
Ooh,
and Kessler's coming back.
Shit.
Kessler would not shell up either.
Kessler coming back strongly now.
In the eighth stretch, Calzaghe clipped Kessler's body.
Trying to set his man up.
Oh,
that was a good shot by Calzaghe.
And moved in with bad intentions. But a blow to the back of the head prompted the referee's action.
Don't hit.
Feeling an adrenaline rush, the Dragon took command of the space, increasing his punch count with each passing minute.
Hands dropping a little bit.
If you, the style of fighter Joe is.
He gave the opponent no room to breathe.
Applaud. Knowledgeable crowd.
Making him swing at air.
I think he is.
To outbox Calzaghe, and even if he takes.
Before coming back with punishment.
Past the halfway point, and from that body shot, Calzaghe has been
To win. He showed power, he showed skill, he showed ability.
No matter how hard Kessler tried to turn things around with a Hail Mary.
Good right hand.
I don't know though. This fight kind of close, bro.
It was the night of Joe Calzaghe.
I thought this fight was close, man.
I think Kessler maybe
Keep
is
it
taking
100.
this last round, but it doesn't matter.
I would like to see this full fight.
Well,
over the course of 12 rounds, the Dragon threw over 1,000 punches, getting
Why?
the upper hand with a significant lead on all the judges' scorecard.
Why did he throw 1,000 punches?
A decade after capturing his first title, Joe had collected all the belts and reached the Undisputed champion status. The Welshman entered the top 5 pound-for-pound list, sharing the honor with guys like Mayweather and Pacquiao. Kessler would go on to capture the throne once again. And he and Calzaghe are on good terms to this day.
I thought to myself, if I lose, man, I never think about losing, man. I could never show my face in Cardiff again. They're carrying me out, mate.
As I said, I hate watching my fights when I lose, but this is good. This is okay.
Oh, thank you.
This is okay, man. I lost the fight, but I tried everything.
Good fight, my man.
Good fight, too.
Leaving nothing but scorched earth in the super middleweight division and defending his throne a record 21 times, Calzaghe made the decision.
Who else defended a fucking belt 21 times? Like, who else doing that, bro? Except for Anderson Silva.
To move up to light heavyweight. Eager to secure a big fight in the USA, Joe traveled to Las Vegas, where he purposely engaged in a war of words with Bernard Hopkins. During the exchange, Hopkins dropped a phrase that instantly transformed their duel into one of the most anticipated matchups of the year.
I would never let a white boy beat me.
Lose. If you fight, you will lose. If you fight me, you will lose.
I'll never let a white boy beat me. And you can call it any statement you want. Anybody can print that I would never lose to a white person.
Hey, I gotta watch Bernard Hopkins though. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't watched Bernard on my channel yet. Let me know in the comments if I
Known by the
You ain't never met this white boy, though.
Executioner, Hopkins took up boxing in prison.
You ain't never met Joe Bernard, I'm sorry.
After being released, he dedicated himself to the sport, ultimately becoming an undisputed world champion in the middleweight division, with a 10-year-long unbeaten streak and 20 defenses of the IBF belt.
10-year-long unbeaten.
One of the top boxers of the 1990s, Felix Trinidad. And knocked out the golden boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
He not that Oscar De La Hoya?
And since you that.
Oh, I gotta watch Bernard. I didn't know. I gotta watch Oscar De La Hoya, matter of fact.
After losing all of his titles to Jermaine Taylor by close decisions in 2005, did Bernard move up to light heavyweight. At the age of 42, he snatched the championship belt from Antonio Tarver.
42?
The same Tarver who had recently shocked the world by proving that Roy Jones Jr. was, in fact, human.
Oh!
Thus, the Executioner once again ascended to the top of the food chain, surpassing the Welshman in the pound-for-pound rankings. Moreover, this would be Calzaghe's first fight in the USA, adding an extra layer of intrigue.
Every red-blooded American is going to be happy with the
outcome. Hold on, so Bernard Hart was 42. How old was Calzaghe? And hold on, this is after Roy got knocked out already, and then boom, boom, boom. Okay. Why they ain't fighting any primes, bro? Why did it take so long for them to fight? Oh, I want to see young Joe and young Bernard.
I'm going to keep this British ass come here tonight, too.
Watch out for headbutts.
However, nobody predicted that lightning would strike in the very first minute of the match.
Supposedly,
Calzaghe walked right into a 1-2 that sat him down. It seemed that Hopkins' counterpunching style would be an insurmountable obstacle. But this wasn't the first time that the Dragon got burned taking off. He started bombing the basement.
He started bombing the basement
to the upper level. And never stopped trying to crack Bernard's defense.
Something because Calzaghe's always been able.
Because you have the numbers doesn't mean you won the round.
Crafty Hopkins stayed close to the ropes, waiting for the opportunity to counter.
Stand and face each other in the ring. The one in tight advantage we knew.
Punch evasion was an innate ability for both athletes.
But he doesn't have any power. His punches are just little flurries.
So there weren't many clean connections in the first half.
By moving and boxing in and out a little bit, he could fight a much longer fight.
Calzaghe starts to get the kind of spirited combat he wants.
After the 6th round, Calzaghe Sr. chimed in, urging his son to step it up.
I'm telling you now, do you want him to stop you? Or you want to stop him? That's the fucking way it's going to go. That's the way it's going to go. Are you with me now? Yeah. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me.
Following the advice, the Dragon unleashed the cross.
1 point difference because
back to Antoine
exploded with a couple of trademark combos.
Hopkins' fight offensively is to go hit him, as Calzaghe is doing.
And soon found his
offensively is to go hit him, as Calzaghe is doing.
And soon found his rhythm.
But he still ought to be good. And Bernard is having a time
trying to apply pressure. Trying to speed the tempo of the fight. Trying to make the 43.
The Executioner was swinging the axe down the pipe.
Early part
avoiding dangerous shootouts.
Hopkins gets in.
And from the 10th round onwards, began looking for a breather.
And down goes Hopkins on a low blow. No point deduction so far.
Or a way to have a point deducted from his adversary.
Stop, come on, stop.
Chopping left hand by Calzaghe now.
Joe kept the pedal to the metal, and some of his shots were hitting the mark.
Cortez says go right ahead and fight.
But might there be retaliation?
Before the 12th, the Welshman started complaining and received a wake-up call.
Is he cheating, man? Big cheat my ass. Don't worry about us cheating. What he's doing. What the are you doing?
What are you doing?
Motivational speech later, Calzaghe made a final surge.
Mike looked in the first few rounds as though it was more than...
And won in the closing minutes.
I don't know. That's I ain't gonna lie. It's 2 questionable fights. I gotta go back and see these 2. Because I don't know if he won this one, bro. It's questionable. I don't know. Maybe he did. I gotta watch the whole thing.
Ultimately, I think it was a pro Calzaghe house.
As is often the case, the two grandmasters delivered a 12-round contest that was hard to judge with the naked eye. One official saw it for Hopkins, whereas the other two sided with Calzaghe.
Hopkins ain't never met a white man named Joe. He was talking crazy before the fight. Boy, you better respect your white man. It's like,
Joe landed 232 punches, more than anyone else ever did in Hopkins' career.
Cortez says go right ahead and fight.
More than anyone.
Bro, how do you throw 700 punches in a fight? I mean,
anyone else ever did in Hopkins' career.
Cortez says go right ahead and fight.
Upon a thorough analysis, the majority of experts agreed with the verdict. Calzaghe hit the target more frequently, controlled the center throughout the bout, and conceded only 3 or 4
I'm not gonna
rounds.
lie, but I'll give it a
no
Joe.
one can deny him as one of the elites in the world of boxing. The Dragon himself labeled this duel as one of the toughest he'd ever had.
And he got dropped. I forgot he got dropped.
Energy, but it was very difficult to pin Bernard down. I knew that. You know, I like fighters coming to me. He was very wily, very clever, holding on the inside. You know, listen. The guy's been around so many years, and you just said to me that I land more punches than any other opponent, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Following victory number 45, Joe figured it was time to hang it up. His hands were so mangled he could barely hit the heavy bag, even with padded gloves. However, Calzaghe couldn't pass up the opportunity to share the ring with Roy Jones Jr.
How old was they, bro? 80? Oh!
In his heyday, Superman was the undisputed king at light heavyweight. And was a true genius of the sweet science.
Thing I don't like about Percy Harris.
Despite being long in the tooth, he entered the bout on a streak of 3, still a viable player.
Now Roy Jones nasty.
The rendezvous took place at Madison Square Garden, where thousands of Welsh fans gathered to cheer their compatriot as he called it quits. The spectators had barely taken their seats when a deja vu swept over the arena.
Jones is quicker in the center of the ring.
Deja vu swept over the arena.
Jones is quicker in the center of the ring, and down goes Calzaghe.
Jones's forearm caught Calzaghe ducking, making him reset on the floor. Joe countered Roy's lunging attack
Badly hurt then against Hopkins.
and got the jab going by the end of the round.
With which to begin the fight.
The second stretch saw the volume increase.
The fight, if Calzaghe can make it go round. And here's what will hurt Jones most if it keeps up.
He said, I'm here.
And it was all Calzaghe by the third.
Good body shot by Calzaghe. Left hand.
Jones struggled to keep up,
Over the last half round or so.
getting outperformed even in his favorite hands-by-the-waist genre.
6. And that's what I'm saying.
He experienced the taunting he used to enact himself.
Nah, Joe nasty with it.
From a tower down like that. Calzaghe showboating in the center of the ring. Calzaghe taking Jones's punches much better now. And landing when he fires back.
Although trying to fight back,
And that he can swamp Jones with punch count from here. He has stopped.
at times it was as if Roy was boxing his younger self.
With his hands down. Round 3.
Calzaghe's advantage grew with each passing minute.
Outside of the first round, he's won, even though
He pressed Jones against the ropes with jabs,
Joe is standing as he is now with his guard down.
then unleashed fast combinations to different levels.
coming into the fight. A fighter who is this round may be on the table with 50 seconds to go. Calzaghe begins. Now the round belongs to the Welshman. Jones lands a
The American occasionally delivered the signature cross
Like it's having a tremendous effect on
and uppercut,
tactical equation in his favor. Takes a big uppercut there.
but missed more often than not,
It makes him, there it is again.
losing the battle in close.
Solid left hand by Calzaghe. Follows it up with a couple of body shots. Another flurry by Calzaghe. To the ropes. Roy may be momentarily hurt. He's hurt. Straight left.
He also suffered a cut,
The constant assault.
which threw his aim off completely.
Again, the hand speed flurries by Calzaghe.
Now the once untouchable Roy was seeking a fifth corner of the ring.
Untouchable? He done got knocked out already, gang. They should have fought in prime. I don't like this.
Jones with activity and turns it all around by hurting Calzaghe, and Calzaghe's
in the championship rounds, the Dragon continued to pepper half-hearted punches.
Probably something to...
And the action increasingly resembled a shutout.
These pictures.
He hopes to win. So far, maybe he's throwing that.
Bro, he's not even throwing no punches. Stop the fight,
by the
gang.
end, enjoying his last moments in boxing.
What would enhance it even more, I think, was if in this last 45.
What might be the last time in the ring.
International Boxing Hall of Fame. His father, Enzo, who raised 2 more world champions aside from Joe, also retired from coaching but maintained his lively spirit till the end. Calzaghe Sr. passed away on September 17th, 2018.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. Calzaghe Sr., man. Damn.
Inspired to keep the family legacy going, Joe and his 2 sons decided to rejuvenate their old gym, which had turned into a museum in recent years. After extensive renovations, they started teaching boxing to young kids in their community. Now, the Calzaghes bring up a new generation of Welsh fighters.
I know what's so bad about like, if it wasn't for my dad, I would never be boxing in the first place. You know, he's the one that took me to the gym. I'm so lucky that my dad's been able to sort of share what I went through, go through these fights, and beautiful memories.
That's hard, man.
Calling Joe Calzaghe a household name would be a stretch. He mostly fought on home soil and only ventured to the U.S. later in his career. Despite all that, the
That's why he's so underrated. That's why people be calling him so underrated, because he know he fought in the U.S. I wish he'd have came over earlier, bro. I still think he one of the ones, though, bro. I don't care who you, bro. You fight, you knocking it, bro. That's tough, though, bro. I understand why he underrated. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about Joe, man. And anybody from the British that be boxing right now, any boxers from the British, comment how many rounds it'll take for Joe to knock you out. But I'm seeing y'all next video. No cap.